On a stormy November evening in 1971, a man in a business suit vanished into the darkness above Washington State, clutching $200,000 in ransom money. He left behind nothing but a clip-on tie, a handful of cigarette butts, and one of aviation's greatest mysteries. No traces of him have ever been found. No body, no parachute, not a single bill from his stolen fortune has ever been spent. The only money ever recovered was $5,800 in weathered $20 bills, discovered by a young boy 9 years later. The FBI will spend the next 45 years and countless resources trying to solve the puzzle. To this day, the only unsolved skyjacking in American history has spawned thousands of theories, dozens of false confessions, and one lingering question that continues to captivate the public. What really happened to D.B. Cooper? This is the story of the most daring mid-air heist ever attempted, and the fascinating investigation that followed. Into the Unknown presents the story of D.B. Cooper. The weather that day was typical for the Pacific Northwest. Overcast skies, steady rain, and a biting wind that cut through even the warmest clothing. None of the airport staff who interacted with Cooper that day remembered anything unusual about him. He was just another face in the crowd, another businessman making his way home for the holidays. The man boards Flight 305, a Boeing 727, takes seat 18C, and orders a bourbon and soda. To fellow passengers and the crew, he appears unremarkable, just another businessman making a short flight on a holiday weekend. None of them could have known they were about to become part of one of aviation's greatest mysteries. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper hands flight attendant Florence Schaffner a note. Used to receiving phone numbers from flirtatious passengers, she initially tucks it into her pocket without reading it. Cooper leans in and whispers, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The note's contents, which Cooper immediately reclaims and destroys, were later recalled by Schaffner. "I have a bomb in my briefcase. I will use it if necessary. I want you to sit next to me. You are being hijacked." When Schaffner sits down, Cooper opens his briefcase, revealing what appears to be a mass of wires and red cylinders. He demands $200,000 in unmarked bills, 4 parachutes, 2 main chutes and 2 reserve chutes, and a fuel truck standing by in Seattle to refuel the aircraft. The crew contacts air traffic control, who relay the demands to Northwest Orient's president. The airline quickly agrees to the ransom, not wanting to risk the lives of the 36 passengers and crew aboard. Throughout the ordeal, Cooper remains polite and well-spoken, even offering to pay for his drinks with a fresh $20 bill. Flight attendant Tina Mucklow would later describe him as calm, intelligent, and well-versed in aviation terminology. As the plane circles Puget Sound, waiting for authorities to gather the ransom, Cooper demonstrates an uncanny knowledge of the area's geography. He discusses heading and altitude adjustments with the flight crew using proper terminology, leading many to later speculate about his possible aviation background. The FBI works frantically on the ground, gathering the ransom money from Seattle First National Bank. Each bill is photographed using a high-speed camera, 10,000 $20 bills, all with serial numbers beginning with the letter L, followed by 12 indicating the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. The parachutes prove more challenging to obtain. They eventually secure 2 main chutes from a local skydiving school and 2 backup chutes from McCord Air Force Base. In Seattle, while agents assemble the demands, the passengers remain unaware of the drama unfolding. Cooper maintains his composure, occasionally making small talk with the crew. When told there would be a delay in getting the money, he remarks, "No problem, I've got all night." The FBI agents who delivered the money and parachutes never saw Cooper directly. He insisted on having the items brought to him by the flight crew. This would prove frustrating later, as it meant no law enforcement officer ever got a clear look at the hijacker. After receiving the ransom and parachutes in Seattle, Cooper allows all passengers and 2 flight attendants to leave the plane. He keeps the pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer, and flight attendant Tina Mucklow on board. His instructions for the next leg of the journey are precise. Fly to Mexico City at an altitude of 10,000 feet with the landing gear down and the cabin unpressurized. Cooper's technical knowledge becomes even more apparent as he discusses the flight plan with the crew. He knows the plane's maximum range with the requested fuel load, its optimal airspeed with landing gear extended, and even the function of specific switches in the cockpit. This expertise would later become a crucial element in theories about his identity. What happens next would baffle investigators for decades. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, over the vast wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, Cooper makes his move. The pilots notice a warning light indicating the aft stairs have been lowered. When they check with Cooper through the intercom, he simply replies, "No problems, just a little trouble with the door." At 8:13 p.m., the plane experiences a slight upward oscillation. The tail-mounted engine registers a brief pressure change. Cooper had jumped into a pitch-black night through zero visibility conditions into a frigid rainstorm over terrain so rugged that even experienced search and rescue teams would have trouble navigating it in broad daylight. The immediate search operation was unprecedented in scale. The FBI interviewed hundreds of witnesses, tracked down countless leads, and combed through miles of wilderness. But Cooper, the money, and the parachutes seemed to have vanished into thin air. The FBI's records would eventually grow to over 60 volumes of detailed reports, witness statements, and theories. The evidence recovered over the years only deepened the mystery. In 1978, a placard containing instructions for lowering the rear stairs of a Boeing 727 was found in the area where Cooper was believed to have jumped. The placard was weathered but intact, suggesting it had indeed been exposed to the elements since the hijacking. In 1980, 8-year-old Brian Ingram discovered $5,800 of the ransom money on the banks of the Columbia River, 9 miles downstream from Vancouver, Washington. The money was badly deteriorated but still bound in its original rubber bands from the bank. This discovery sparked new theories about Cooper's fate and the path the money might have taken to reach that location. Several witnesses reported seeing a man matching Cooper's description at a restaurant in Vancouver, Washington, hours after the hijacking. The man appeared calm and collected, paying for his meal with cash and leaving a generous tip. The physical description of Cooper, compiled from witness accounts, painted a picture of a man approximately 5'10" to 6 foot tall, 170 to 180 pounds, in his mid-40s. He wore a black or dark brown business suit, a white shirt, a black tie with a mother-of-pearl tie pin, and dark sunglasses. Flight attendant Tina Mucklow described his voice as low and monotone, with no discernible accent. She also noted that he seemed very familiar with the Seattle area and commercial aviation procedures. The investigation revealed other intriguing details. Cooper had refused the civilian parachute initially offered, requesting instead a military-style chute with manual operation. He also seemed to know that the aft stairs of the Boeing 727 could be opened during flight, a feature not widely known outside aviation circles at the time. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged about Cooper's identity and fate. The military theory. Cooper's knowledge of aircraft, parachuting, and his calm demeanor led many to believe he had military training, possibly as a paratrooper. His familiarity with the Boeing 727's rear stairs and confidence in night jumping suggested specialized knowledge. Some investigators believed he might have been a Vietnam veteran, trained in halo jumps and survival techniques. The Boeing employee theory. The hijacker's intimate knowledge of the aircraft and its capabilities led some to suspect he was a current or former Boeing employee. The company's significant presence in the Seattle area made this theory particularly compelling. His understanding of specific aircraft systems and terminology suggested someone who had either worked on the 727's design or had extensive experience maintaining them. The local theory. Cooper's choice of flight route and jump location suggested he might have been familiar with the Pacific Northwest. Some speculate he had a vehicle or accomplice waiting in a prearranged location. His knowledge of local geography and weather patterns supported this theory. The death theory. Many experts believe Cooper didn't survive the jump. The conditions were extremely challenging. Pitch darkness, heavy rain, temperatures around 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and rough terrain below. He was wearing Oxford shoes and a business suit rather than appropriate gear for such a jump. The jump zone was heavily forested, with trees reaching heights of 200 feet or more. The investigation has generated some intriguing suspects. Richard Floyd McCoy, Jr. In April 1972, McCoy hijacked a United Airlines flight using methods similar to Cooper's, including demanding 4 parachutes and jumping from the aircraft. He was captured but later escaped prison and died in a shootout with FBI agents. Some investigators believed the similarities between the two hijackings were too precise to be coincidental. Kenneth Christensen, a former paratrooper and Northwest Airlines purser, Christensen matched Cooper's physical description and had the necessary skills. His brother came forward after his death, claiming Kenneth had confessed to being Cooper. Investigators found that Christensen had purchased a house with cash shortly after the hijacking, though he earned a modest salary. Robert Rackstraw, a Vietnam veteran with parachute training. Rackstraw was a popular suspect until his death in 2019. He often made cryptic statements about the case, but never explicitly claimed to be Cooper. His military record showed extensive training in both aviation and parachuting, and his physical appearance in 1971 closely matched witness descriptions. Recent developments have added new layers to the mystery. In 2016, the FBI officially suspended active investigation of the case, though they continue to process physical evidence as new technologies become available. Scientific analysis of the tie Cooper left behind revealed traces of pure titanium and other rare earth elements, suggesting he might have worked in the chemical or metallurgical industry. In 2017, amateur investigators discovered particles of cerium, strontium sulfide, and other rare elements on the tie, indicating possible links to Boeing's supersonic transport development program. The case's impact on aviation security was immediate and lasting. The Cooper vane was developed, a simple device that prevents the rear stairs of a Boeing 727 from being lowered during flight. Airport security measures were dramatically increased, and new protocols were implemented for handling hijacking situations. The case raises intriguing questions that continue to puzzle investigators. How did Cooper know so much about the Boeing 727's features? Was his choice of flight and jump location random or carefully planned? Did he have an accomplice waiting on the ground? What explains the location and condition of the discovered money? Did he survive the jump? Or did the wilderness claim another victim? Why did he demand 4 parachutes? Was it to make authorities think he might force a hostage to jump with him? What happened to the remaining money and equipment? The case has left an indelible mark on American popular culture. Cooper has been portrayed in numerous books, movies, and television shows, often depicted as a daring anti-hero who outsmarted the system. His image as the gentlemanly skyjacker who pulled off the perfect crime continues to captivate the public imagination. The Pacific Northwest still holds its secrets about that stormy November night. Every year, amateur sleuths comb the forests and riverbanks, hoping to find that one piece of evidence that might finally solve the mystery. The region has embraced the legend, with Cooper-themed restaurants, bars, and even an annual festival celebrating the mysterious hijacker. Was D.B. Cooper an experienced paratrooper who planned the perfect crime? A desperate man making a foolhardy attempt at fortune? Or do his remains lie somewhere in the vast wilderness of the Pacific Northwest, taking the truth of that night to the grave? Share your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more unsolved mysteries that challenge our understanding of reality. Remember, sometimes the most compelling mysteries are those that remain unsolved.